You know, you truly do disappoint me sometimes, Kiabeth. Well, no, you don't have to say your name. Your name is on the top. They can read. They ain't illiterate. Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. For today we are going to focus on the eyes, so that's why my base is on my face and that's already done. And so what we're gonna do is that we are going to put together a Valentine and anti-Valentine Day look. And so the first look will be really pretty and girly and flirty, and then we're going to morph that into something very dark and smoky. So from going out on a date with your boyfriend to going out on a We Hate Men's drinking binge with your girls. Which is probably what I'm gonna do for Valentine's Day, so you might see this look again. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoy, and if you want to see how I figure this out, go ahead and keep on watching. Alrighty, so first things first is that we are going to prep the eyes. I'm going to go ahead and put on some eyeshadow primer, and I'm using the Luscious Angel Eyes eyeshadow primer base. And I'm going to go ahead and put that on my eyes, and then just, you know, brush that out or blend that out with a brush. And then once I blend that out with my brush, I will go ahead and set my eyes. Alrighty, so once the eyes are set, I'm going to go ahead and pick up a fluffy brush, and I'm going to pick up a really pale pink shade. This one's called Pinkity Drinkity, and I'm going to go ahead and use this as my transition shade. It's really pale, and you can kind of barely see the pigment like laying on there, but I do get it there eventually with a couple different layers of the shade. And I use this as my transition. Basically just we are going to be using some really strong colors, and I want to make sure that everything kind of blends out, so I use this as my base. And yeah, if you keep seeing me, just look off to my right for a second there. I'm watching Black Mirror, so you can disregard me. But I am going to go ahead and buff this into both eyes, increasing its intensity as I go until I get it to the concentration that I want for my transition color. Then, using a slightly smaller and more defined brush, I'm going to go ahead and pick up the shade Mary. This shade, it has like a red, kind of like with brown and pink undertones. I don't know, I think it's absolutely beautiful, and the pigmentation on it is insane. But I go ahead and concentrate this on first the outside of the eye, and if you notice, I was just patting it into my eye. And I found recently that this is kind of just the way I get the highest pigment concentration. And then I kind of blow it out, kind of to give it a little bit of a wing or cat eye effect per se. And then I start blending it into the crease with circular motions. Go back in to blow it out, and then I go back in and start using swiping motions and circular motions to build its intensity and blend it into the crease. then I'll quickly go back in with Pinkity Drinkity on the fluffy brush to just buff out those edges. We don't want any harsh lines, and we want to make sure that the colors are blending into each other naturally. Then I'm going to go into a slightly more concentrated brush, and I'm going to pick up the shade You're Kidding. And so with this, I'm going to start, and similar to what I did with Mary, I'm going to first press it into the outside of the eye, and then I'm going to go ahead and start buffing that out. You're Kidding is like super red, so I don't want to get it too strong too fast. I do like to build up the concentration and the intensity of the shade, but like I said, I start by pressing the shade first into the outside of the lid, and then I kind of use circular motions to bring it inwards. You guys will probably notice on this video that what looks like my right eye, but it's really my left eye, doesn't seem as strong as my right eye, but that's more because of the natural light coming from the window. But I promise that they look the same in person. And then I'm going to go ahead and pick up my white concealer, and I'm going to use a really small detailed brush to go ahead and start cutting the crease. And so with this, I'm going to put a bit of the concealer on the bottom of my lid, and then I'm going to look up to mark where the concealer is supposed to lay. And then I'm just going to start working it backwards from there. So I'll start bringing it down, and then I will just start outlining my crease to a little tiny itty bitty bit above where that line at the top of my lid fell, just to make sure that you're actually able to still see everything that we, put our heart and soul into for the look. And again, just make sure that you take your time with this. It's really easy to mess it up and a lot harder to fix once you do, because it's concealer. But I digress. I'm just going to go ahead and cut the crease on my right eye first, and then we will get into the shade. Once the crease is cut, I'm going to get this flat brush, and I'm going to pick up, that nonsense right there, that pink shade Skip, and I'm going to start pressing this into the lid. When I tell you that this shade ain't come to play games with y'all, this shade did not come to play games with you or your mama or your siblings. Like, it is here, and it's just really intense. So I'm just going to go ahead and press this all over the lid, just until it's nice and concentrated, so that, we get all Valentine's Day and pinky. It's okay. That's what brushes are for. Not. You see that? It's annoying. To blow off a little bit of the stuff before I apply it. Whatever, it's fine. So I should have done this when I first started the eye look, but my intelligence comes later on in life. I'm gonna go ahead and put some translucent powder with a damp sponge under my eyes to hopefully clean this up and avoid this in the future. So I'm gonna go ahead and pick up the brush from before and reapply Mary to the outside of the eye, just to again blend everything together. And I'm just gonna go through and pick up your kidding as well, to bring everything back into the eye. And I also pick up the shade 515 and Rusted with my JH brush to just intensify this and bring a little bit more orange into the look. And so, yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and keep intensifying the outside of the eye until we get it to our liking. Using a pencil brush, I'm going to go ahead and just line up the lower lash line with the shade Mary. I'm just going to go ahead and drag this all over my bottom lashes, and then I'm going to highlight my inner corner using two shades. I'm going to use the shade Sister, which is like the really pink, kind of like glittery shade, and I'm going to use the shade Face and mix a little bit of those together, just to kind of keep it, in the pink family. And then I'm going to highlight my brow bone as well, because I cannot live without it. And once that's done, we're going to go ahead and move on to the face. We were already kind of bronze, so I'm just going to go ahead and contour the base. I'm using the KatVonD palette. I'm using that bottom middle shade to go ahead and contour. And so I'm using my little contour brush here, concentrating the majority of the darkness on kind of the higher part by my ears almost, just so that shadow is as high as possible. It doesn't come super low on the face. I drag it up a little bit, the corner towards my temples, and then I go ahead and contour my forehead. Yes, I know, don't drag me, it's a little muddy, but I do fix it with some powder. Okay, thank you. I'm going to go into my Morphe 9N blush palette, and I'm going to pick up the one in the middle row all the way to the right, just because it was the palest and I thought would be the most appropriate. And just going to start brushing this on the cheeks. Just, to warm up the cheeks and give us a little bit more color, make us nice and flirty and Valentine's Day-y and, like in love. My lashes off the camera, and I'll be right back. Alrighty guys, so this is the first finished look. So this is the Valentine's Day look, and so really cute, really pink, really fun, really flirty. What we're gonna do now is go ahead and morph her into a dark, mysterious, independent single woman that hates Valentine's Day. So yeah, just go ahead and stick around, and we're gonna go ahead and get right onto it. And because on my channel we learn our lessons, okay, we're going to first go ahead and put some translucent powder under our eyes. And using Morphe M433, I'm actually going to go ahead and pick up your kitting. And where before we were using this on the outside of the eye for the anti-look, this is going to be our primary lid color. And so one thing I will say is that it didn't matter how many times I went over the lid with the brush, the color never got to the intensity that I wanted it to. So I do later on just go in and use my finger like I should have done in the beginning. But yeah, there is that. And then once I have that all over the lid, I'm gonna go first and mistakenly pick up the black shade Spooky on a really small defined brush. And I would then decide, like, let's start off with a dark brown. So I instead go in first with No Beans to darken up the outer corner of the eye. So with this, I'm going to start pressing it first, keeping it low as I can on the outside of the eye, and then I'll slowly bring it up so that we don't get this, you know, really intense dark color too high up on the eyes. And excuse the jingles, that's Milo being who he is. And then yes, I'll go ahead and just cover up where the red was before with No Beans, and just keeping kind of that really sharp cat eye kind of effect, and darken this up until it gets to what I like. Using the M433, I'm going to go ahead and pick up Your Kidding again, and now this I'm going to just use to smoke out the lower lash line. I'm going to bring this as low as I feel, and just dragging that red out so that it's really nice and sultry. And then once I go ahead and wipe off the bake, which I should have probably done after this specific step, but I'm going to go ahead and pick up Spooky, now the black shade, and just intensify the outside edge. And also, before everyone comes for me, I do know that there is eyeshadow on my lashes, and I did not realize this till like after the video and everything was done. So forgive me, but yeah, then we're gonna go ahead and highlight our inner corners again. This time we're just going to use the shade Face to intensify that inner corner highlight, and then I'm going to deepen my contour, just because this is this really, really, really dark look. I want to kind of look even more defined on the face. So I'm going to go ahead and pick up the darkest shade from the Shade and Light palette and just intensify my contour. I'm going over the same area as I did before, kind of using the same motions, but just with a darker color, so that the shadow just looks a little deeper. I'm also going to, for this side, or this look, go ahead and clean up that contour and bronzer area with some translucent powder and using the flat end of my brush. And then I'm going to slightly contour my nose as well. So for my nose contour, I'm using the Colourpop and Alexis Ren bronzing highlighting collab in the shade Topaz, just to very lightly, because I'm not the master of contouring my nose, and I kind of do like my nose, so I don't do it often. Just, you know, bring in some shadow to the nose as well. Using Jeffree Star's Unicorn Blood Liquid Lip, this is what we're going to go ahead and put on our lips for the anti-look. So just do take my time with this one to go ahead and make sure that I don't mess it up, because this is one heck of an intense red, like a very deep red as well, but I do think it's beautiful, and I thought that it fit this look kind of perfectly. intensify that highlight. There's literally nothing about this look that's not just overstated and super dramatic in my opinion. And I'm going to quickly grab the black shade Spooky again, and I'm going to line the lower lash line really tight. I'm going to keep it really tight on there, just to, again, darken this up a little bit more and just give it a little bit of a, like a oomph. Alrighty guys, so this is the finished anti-Valentine's Day look. I really hope that you guys enjoyed. I really had a lot of fun with today's video, and I hope you guys did as well. So if you guys like this video, if you guys like my previous videos, do not forget to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and leave your suggestions in the comment box down below for any future uploads, or to say what you thought about this looks video. You know what I'm saying? I really appreciate you guys, and I can't thank you enough for watching the video. So wherever you guys are, I hope you have an amazing rest of your day, night, evening, afternoon, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye. Bought 2 large venties so that I would have enough to film the whole video, and here I am. And if you don't believe me, I drank this one before I even got home. I'm gonna say no ice next time, because I'm sick and tired of paying like $5 for the ice for water. It's quite upsetting. Thank you. You know, now we think. You know, look with our head. Oh, sweet Jesus. You're still not dry.